Another year, another season, another really strange month weather-wise. Hi, I'm Jeff and welcome to Brimwood Farm. I don't know about you, but April is proving to be a very strange weather month. It's relatively warm, but no sun. Those of you that subscribe to Charles Dowding's newsletter, he even said the other day we've had the least amount of sunshine in April since 1998. And so it's resulted in this strange month where nature is a little bit ahead. So I'm finding that all the trees are out already, the bluebell grove is already coming on, garlic mustard is springing up, nettles and sticky weed, all those things you find in May are kind of already here. But crop-wise, everything's behind because we're growing the crops on, we're getting them established into little plugs, putting them into the garden, and then there is no sunshine to help them grow. So it's a bit of a weird sort of season. Like you look out the window and everything is coming on and you say, yes! And then you go and visit the garden and you're like, oh, nothing has grown. Why? These trees, by the way, this little section of trees is a new little section of woodland I'm putting in. The wind across this field is horrendous. So the market garden, for context, the market garden's over there. That's where I live. And this is the field. And the field slopes downways and the sun rises over there and it goes around, 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 and it sets over here. So we are actually having the most stunning sunsets at the moment. But the wind across here, so the idea is, because I won't lose any light from putting trees over here, I've put a nice section of trees coming out. So the pit is here, that goes into a wood and then down. This comes out like this, and then I'm going to have a trackway so that you can at least drive a tractor or something through here, and then I'm going to do another copse on this side. So it will act as a nice big tree barrier, but also it's landscaping, and that's something I love. I love kind of thinking about how to mould the landscape. So actually from where my view is, I'll look across the field and there'll be these two big bits of tree and then this passageway between that will draw your eye, will draw you when you go for walks, and hopefully in the future when I'm dead and gone, those trees will still be there and I'll have left kind of my little mark on how this land works. So I'm excited, but today we need to try and do some garden stuff. So yes, I have spent an obscene amount of time going back and forth to this muck heap, carrying over vast amounts of well-rotted cow manure. But it's worth it. It's worked the cardio, and it didn't take as many trips as I thought actually. And it was worth just getting this down. Now you'll note that I am just pouring the cow manure, it's well rotted, about 3 years, straight onto the ground, and I haven't necessarily weeded everything out. And that's because I'm covering this patch in a membrane. So the majority of this manure is actually going to be hid underneath the membrane that only the roots of the plants will access. If I was doing it on an open patch where I was going to be going straight into the ground with no kind of top covering or top dressing, I would weed out everything first. Well, that took a while, but we're done. So let's just move the membrane back over. Actually quite warm, just had to take the hoodie off. So this is going to be kale. So I've got 2 rows of 3. In fact, I probably will only fill up 1 row with kale. So that will actually be good because it will leave me with the second row to put something else in. And like last time, as I say, the lack of sun means really stuff hasn't come on very much. You can see there are supposed to be some little baby chard in here. Haven't really come on. Same with the spring onions, same with the spinach, although there are some fresh leaves. Same with the beets. Again, there's some tiny fresh leaves starting to show, but they just need more sun, more days like this. The other thing is, I don't know about you, but I'm having massive difficulties with bloody blackbirds. This year, I've managed to put the rooks off. They are all going into the lamb and ewe field and picking through the poo, I assume. They've also been landing on Susan and taking some of her fleece, but mostly through the poo, which is great because it means they haven't come into the garden. What has come into the garden, there's 2 pairs of blackbirds, and I think they are nesting in this hedge. So that's great in terms of them taking slugs and snails, but they come along and these were perfect paths. It was perfect soil, perfect path, perfect soil, perfect path, and they have come along and absolutely decimated it. Because what they do, they come along, they flick around this looking for stuff, and they flick everything onto the beds. They also dig out great old holes, great old chunky holes in the ground where there should be soil. So I don't really know what to do about it. Every time I see them, I come running over and try and chase them away. It's a bit annoying, but I suppose it is only aesthetics, and there is stuff growing. This is a lot of grass. I still need to, this bed definitely needs to be sorted out. The broad beans, however, have finally, I don't know if you remember how tatty they looked. I'll try and remember to put a little screenshot up, but they've come on. So they do recover, they do come on quite nicely, and you can see they are actually covered in lots of lovely flowers. And in fact, there might, these ones look like they've probably already been pollinated, so these might actually start turning into beans soon. The other thing is the lettuces have again sat here and done nothing, but I noticed today, they don't look very happy, but I have noticed if you come down, there are some greener shoots starting to come out. So they're obviously they're putting down roots. But you can see, look how much bark is across here from where the blackbirds have flicked it. And you can also see the holes. Now the holes are not because slugs have come in, the holes are because the blackbirds have actually scratched the young plants out of the ground. It's very annoying. If I take you into the polytunnel, you'll see the difference between the plants that have been struggling to grow outside and the plants that have had those little bits of sun, but also the warmth and no wind, because the wind has been really cold. So those spring onions you just saw are barely holding on. These spring onions are doing really well. They took a while. What is that banging? Please don't break. But as you can see, they're really coming on now. They're starting to set on some good growth. The Mizuna, it has got too hot for the Mizuna, and you can see that this red Mizuna has started to go to flower. But it's not game over, because you can chop those flowers off, you can eat those flowers, and I've been just chopping those stems right back down, really giving it a lot of water, and actually they've started to produce more leaves, so that's a crop I've probably managed to save. Here are the kale that are going to go into that bed, and with us having a frost last week, I decided after that was done and the temperatures seemed to go up that I was going to move my hot crops out here. And what I mean by that is I had some dahlias inside that I didn't want to get frosted. I also had some peppers, and I potted all of those on, and I also put the aubergines into the ground. You can tell spring's coming as well, because next to our phallically shaped pond, the water's actually cleared out, and there's actually an amazing amount of life in it. If you look down here, I don't know what these are. Don't all swim away. if you look carefully, you can see obviously tons and tons of Daphnia swimming around. But what are these other little fly things? Are they mayflies? Oh, there's a newt. I'm going to see if I can get you the newt on camera. Can you see the newt there? There he is, just under the water. That's kind of cool. But yeah, what are all these little critters? They look like little shrimpy things. Are they mayflies? There's a little spider that's got stuck. Here, little spider, use my finger. Off you go. And look at all the Daphnia. There's so many of them. Just goes to show, even a tiny little pond like that, full of life. So most of my work at the moment is in the garden. It's weeding, it's chasing blackbirds, it's barrowing muck and compost. I do need to come out and do the first strim. My strimmer broke. I just could not get the motor going at all. I've borrowed a friend's strimmer today, so we've started to strim a few areas. But also there's quite a lot going on with the animals. So the piglets have all now left. So Margaret and Hyacinth are back with Richard. We've actually got a couple of broody silkies in broody towers. The first Ixworth hatched out today. And in the chick shed we've got a range of Coffee Campbell ducklings, silver appleyard ducklings, bantam morans and Norfolk grey chicks. As I said before, my goose is on eggs, my turkey is on eggs, one of my silver appleyards is on eggs, and all the lambs are bounding along. They look great. So although it is a mega strange season in terms of weather, there's a lot of life. There's a lot of life around. And on days like today, when the sun has actually come out and there is blue sky, I'm really, really looking forward to the year ahead.